you're about to see is a lifelong collection of over 60 years of Canadian history, which is divided into three parts, which are all related to each other. The first is the discovery and opening of British Columbia. The second is the romantic history of the Canadian Pacific Railway. And thirdly, the Chinese-Canadian history in Canada. In my father's tailor shop in Victoria, Cormorant Street in Victoria, there's a big poster hanging on the back wall of the Empress of Asia, steaming in Asian water at sunset. And that always impressed me greatly because of the beauty and the power of the ship. And that sowed the seed for my passion of collecting CPR things. I would go on flea markets, running all over the city, and each day if you find 2 teaspoons, you're happy. But after 25 years, you don't have to do that. People phone you. Each of us have only 2 eyes and 2 ears, and you can't cover everything. But if you got 100 friends who know you are a collector, you have a much greater scope in finding things. When I first saw the model, my heart just sank because of the terrible condition in which I found the boat. It took 6 years and 4,000 hours before the restoration's completed. And is so detailed that you can see the doors having little movable doorknobs with rings. The lifeboats consisted of 57 pieces of wood carved and glued together. In this collection, you will see some beautiful CPR porcelain made of the highest grade. The majority, over 450 of them, came from one collector. And this collector is a diver. And he would often see a piece of porcelain sticking out. Thinking they're broken, he never touched them until one day he pulled one up and found it was in perfect condition. Now, how did it get there? But it appears that oftentimes when a steward takes these plates back to the galley after serving someone in their stateroom, they would look around, and if nobody's around, they open the window and just chuck it out instead of washing it. If in the future, if the Pacific Ocean ever dries up, all you need is follow CPR porcelain and you'll reach China. We have in this collection the personal diary of Hector Langevin, the first Minister of Labor under the Macdonald government. He was sent out to British Columbia in 1871 to assess the situation of this newly acquired province of Canada. Firstly, he determined that Broad Inlet is a magnificent harbor and should be the terminal of the Canadian Pacific Railway. Secondly, he interviewed a lot of Chinese miners and workers, describing their condition. And thirdly, he traveled all across British Columbia as far as up to Barkerville, even the Queen Charlotte Islands, to assess the situation and the resources of the province. So he combined all 3 interests in his one diary. See, as I look back in the earliest part of my family history, I would see my father coming off the Japanese freighter and trudged that 2 terrifying miles from the wharf to the ghetto in Victoria, Chinatown, being heckled all the way by a hostile crowd. Canada has changed from, at that moment, a very bigoted society and racist society to one that is now the envy of the world. Quite a lot of my friends ask why after a lifetime of collecting all these things, you give it away. I love my collection so much that I want it to be looked after in perpetuity. And the UBC is the best I can think of.